Thanks for tuning in to Synthesis. We're down here at the Warped Tour in Marysville, California with Drop Dead Gorgeous. Say hello, gentlemen.
What's up? How's it going?
Good job. So, you guys, before heading out on the Warped Tour, you guys were playing like a pretty extensive Mexico tour, is that correct?
5 dates. 5 dates in Mexico, like Guadalajara, Mexico City, Mexicali, Tijuana, Monterrey, yeah.
What do you think that there's a difference between like the crowds who are checking you guys out in Mexico versus the crowd that's been checking you guys out for the last month on the Warped Tour?
The kids in Mexico were much more like fanatic and much crazier and really like excited. Not just even more excited. Not a lot of American bands go down there and they don't get a lot of shows, so they're thrilled when bands come down there. So it was awesome. We got a great response and definitely we'll be back there again.
Any advice for the kids in America and Canada who come check you out and aren't quite living up to their compadres on the South?
Well, the shows, it's just about having fun, and however you have fun, whether it's moshing around or just enjoying the music and sitting back and watching it, whatever. Just as long as you're having a good time, and we do our thing and have a good time, and that's what it's all about.
So you guys recently released Worse Than a Fairy Tale, which is your second full-length album, and I know it's like based on kind of a mystery story plot. Have you guys been getting a lot of responses so far on who people think the killer is?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of threads off the internet and stuff I read sometimes, and then people are kind of reading into it. Worse Than a Fairy Tale has an interactive website where you can read all the murders and stuff, and they're catching on more to the story as like we keep putting new murders up and stuff. And a lot of people are like headed in the right direction. Some people are going off in different directions with different theories. And it's kind of fun to see, what pans out, because really it's all about kids just guessing and figuring out themselves. It's like a Shakespeare play. There's not really any right or wrong theory or anything. It has many different interpretations to it. So it's whatever it is to that person. It's the whole idea.
I was wondering, like, thinking of the concept, it's like a really cool concept to like give people like something to interact with. And I know you guys are used to like fans who are like really into your guys' show and you guys play live and are like up there and really giving it their all. That's really interesting. Who thought of the idea to have a band, your music, be interactive on a non-live level?
It kind of just happened. Like, I mean, the concept, I had this concept in my head for like a year and worked on it, and the whole band knew the concept when we were recording the album. And our like marketing directors and media guys like kind of like took it to the next level and made it really interactive, like 3D, all the computer stuff. We obviously don't make any of that stuff, so it kind of just created itself, I guess.
So does your marketing and management team kind of help you create some of the idea as well, or they help you like kind of forge what you'd already had?
They helped develop it. All the ideas were ours, and especially Danny's. He thought of the whole concept and the whole story and all the plot stuff, and they really like put it to life, I guess. And made the website and helped us out with all that.
A lot of I'm looking at my notes, by the way. I hope that's all right with you. I could just ask you some like random generic questions.
No.
Actually, I do have a random generic question for you guys. Favorite Halloween costume that you guys have ever been?
I was a deviled egg once. It's like a big round like piece of cloth, like a white circle thing with a yolk in the middle and then little devil horns, so deviled egg. I guess my favorite was probably when I was like in second grade. I was an army guy. I like had all the army clothes because my dad's in the army, so face paint and all that stuff. It was fun.
Any thoughts as to what you guys are going to be this year?
No. Probably. I'm thinking I'm going to go with Jesus. I'm going to be Jesus. Or Charles Manson. You can pull off Charles Manson, Lieutenant Dan, or Jesus. Because he looks like Lieutenant Dan. I would do. I don't know. I like really ridiculous things. Whatever like the most ridiculous thing I find online.
Darth Vader.
Probably Star Wars. I love Star Wars, so I do that.
So Worse Than What We Aim For is kind of more of an interactive concept idea. Sorry, Worse Than a Fairy Tale. Worse Than What We Aim For? Is that what I said? That's rad. So Worse Than a Fairy Tale is kind of based on a concept. When you guys were little, were you at all interested in reading like choose your own adventure or mystery novels?
Oh yeah, Boxcar Children, like Nancy Drew or whatever, that kind of stuff. I think for me the biggest inspiration for me was watching like movies like Hannibal and like the Silence of the Lamb stuff, and like, you know, all those kind of Helter Skelter really inspired me for this album. And Son of Sam, basically all like the famous killers, like the Zodiac Killer, all these killers, like it's fun to like study them and get into their mind and try to like write a concept and just, I don't know, almost act it and like live it. It's kind of weird.
What is it about serial killers that really like grabs your imaginations?
I don't even know what it is.
I think for me it's that it's such a different way of life and different way of thinking that I can't even comprehend in my mind, and that it's so different that it's really intriguing to like figure out like, all right, why does somebody do that and they think it's right and they think they're doing something good, when to me it's like something terrible, but they believe with their entire lives that they're doing something right and they're helping people out, and that's just like weird. It's just like fun to look into psychology stuff like that.
So for the last questions, you know, for the album, you guys invented a town called Sailor Lake. In what ways is Sailor Lake like your hometown Denver?
I don't know, I guess like the whole theory of a tight-knit community, like perfection as a town, and then something blowing it completely out of proportion, scaring everyone and causing questions and stuff. I think that happens everywhere always. I don't know, it's just kind of like, I don't like that perfection, so that just inspired me, like going to high school and going to school, having all these perfect things. So it's kind of like, I don't know, that's as close as I can get to describing how it is.
And you guys' relation to Columbine, have anything to play with that?
No, but I mean, that is does kind of tie in, I guess. It's a coincidence, but
it kind of does, because nothing really like that happened in Denver before. It's always kind of nice, you know, normal town, quite outskirt towns, you know, and then all of a sudden Columbine happened, and it's horrible and shocking, and
the shock factor.
Absolutely, and it just kind of turned everything upside down. People don't feel safe going like to school, and there's all this security, and it totally changes everything around. And even our album is kind of about a town being in shock, like it's a normal town, and then something just terrible starts happening, and it's terrifying. So,
well, that sounds like a really pleasant place to leave it.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been Synthesis Magazine with Drop Dead Gorgeous.